So when I came here for my first year, when I came to look around, I basically told my parents I'm never going to do knit. I hated it. I hated the look of it. I said it's for old people. This is probably not the nicest thing to say, but then I tried it and I loved it, and I've never even thought of doing woven now. They always start very avant-garde and get watered down a little bit, but I work mostly with my samples, so I don't really do a lot of sketches and designs. I will do samples, put them into my sort of designs, as it were, and then develop from there, and then it becomes sort of like size, scale, placement, colour, everything changes as sort of the project moves on. So I always try and design for sort of my demographic, people that are in my life, because I do menswear. Obviously my dad, my brother, anyone, uncles, anything like that. Boyfriends, like my boyfriend is a big part of my designs, as well as my friends. So I try and keep them in mind. But yeah, I try and keep it relaxed because that's what I want to wear. I wear most of my clothes are menswear. I don't really wear any women's wear, so yeah. I always try and sort of develop techniques instead of just using techniques that we've been taught. For the weaving that I'm doing, it took maybe 20, 30, 40 different attempts of just the same thing in different sizes, different placements, different yarns, changing one needle, changing the gauge. It makes it a little bit more complicated, but finding something that I actually enjoy looking at and creating makes it a lot easier. The machines I use, probably I'm very fond of domestics. I am not a huge fan of the duvet machines, but you have to use them, so. Sustainability is definitely at the forefront of everyone when they're doing the designs, their research, sourcing any fabrics or yarns or anything. It's really important to me, as I think it is to everyone, but I do understand that there are limits, especially with doing knitwear. There are probably a handful of people in the UK that actually have responsibly sourced yarns, so finding ones that don't have a huge carbon footprint, or like we know are ethically sourced or spun or whatever, is really hard, but we try our best. I always try and get things that are like donated, so there's not any waste. I use the shoelaces that were donated in my last project, and currently in this project we've got, I think we must have got hundreds of yarns donated from John Smedley, so there was a couple of us that went and spoke to them, and yeah. I think it's really nice because I get a bit of tunnel vision when I think as a designer as well, you have an idea of what you want your work to look like, and you want it to sit a certain way, and to have someone come in and kind of disrupt that, I think it's really helpful. Sometimes it can be a little bit wounding because you're like, oh, I spent so much time on that for it to not look like that anymore, but it's really nice to see someone else have a vision for something that you've put so much time and effort in, for them to also sort of like reciprocate that effort.